Okay, so remember my mobility car class that had the default and the two overridden constructor methods? Well, it doesn't tell me anything, so now I have to have accessor methods so I can see the instance variables from outside of the class, because they're private. The first thing you need to remember is the return type, so that's the second word, the first word after public, needs to match the instance variable type. So my registration plate is a string, therefore it's public string. My make's a string, so it's public string. My model's a string, so it's public string. And remember, they have to be public so you can access them from the other class. Otherwise, they too will be useless. So then I've got a public double because cost per kilometre is double, and a public int because set mileage is int. Now, for the variables that change, I need to have set methods. Registration plate doesn't change, so that's not helpful, but mileage does. So set the cost per kilometre. If it gets expensive because the fuel rises, then I need to change it. The parameter that's passed in must match the data type. So cost per kilometre is a double, so the parameter has to be a double. And set mileage is an int, so the parameter has to be an int. So when someone rents a car, we add the mileage to the car so we can see how many miles the car has got upon it. Next, we're going to have a toString method. The object class actually has a toString. If I called the toString, it would be a hash code of where the string's stored in memory, but we want to actually show the data values. This little symbol at the side means it's an overridden method. It's overwriting the object class method. So we return the reg plate plus the make plus the model, in a nice sentence that can be seen in the main method and called upon from the main method. Okay, so this is going to give me a nice sentence showing all the data within the class, the instance of the class. If I go to my main, I've still got my mobility car with the default 2 that has the full and 3 that is the second overridden method. If I see, as I've got system.out.1, 2 and 3, it actually calls the toString method by default, and because I've overridden the toString method, it will print my toString method by default. But I can also access single variables and print out single variables using the accessor methods. So 1.getMake and 2.getModel will just print out them specific variable types. Then, to call a mutator method, I call the name of the instance, so for example 2, set cost per kilometre and add my new kilometres, and then 2.setMileage. Somebody's travelled 100 kilometres, so I can set the mileage. Then system.out.println 2.toString will show you that they've changed. If you also just put in the brackets system.out.println 2, then it would call the toString method, but I forgot that, so I like to type. Okay, as you can see, everything is being printed out, and you can see that the changes have been made using the mutator method. Here's my version of the AP cow class. It has a cow name, breed, what the cow says, and int. The default constructor method, and then the overridden constructor method, which takes the name, the breed, and the cow says, but milk is set to 0. I've also got a no parameter mutator method called milk, that every time it is milked, 1 gets added to the variable milked. I do not pass in the parameter because it's just performing an action. It doesn't need any information by the user. This is just happening to the cow. So we can also use mutator methods to create actions that we want our class to do. If I go to my main method and I say magiccow.milk and try to add one to the milk, and then say magiccow.cowname and try to print it out, then run it, you will see that I get a problem. That's because you can't call the variable directly because it's private. I have to say milk and perform the action. Okay, I have to use the mutator method. If I print it again, I get no errors, but nothing prints out on the screen. That is because I need to say system.out.println, like myMagicCow.toString or myMagicCow.getCowname. If I don't do anything with it, nothing will happen. Okay, so I print it, and you now see that my cow has printed stuff out. if you call the mutator method a few more times, so milk, and then milk again, and then milk again, then you can see that this gets added, and when I print it out, you can see that my mutator method is performing the action every time it's called, even though I'm not passing in any parameters.